The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the #1 Contender podcast, the show where your favorite nerds sit down and talk all things movie trivia schmodown. I am your host, Jarod Bachman-Stubbs, and joining me, as always, is Travis Grossman.
This is my first dose of caffeine for the day.
It is indeed. This is our first time doing #1 Contender on the Saturday of which it will air. So
At the early, disgusting time of 11 a.m., which I hear in podcasting circles is ungodly early.
It is. It is. It really can be. I know I sleep in a good bit on Saturdays because I'm off on Saturdays.
I sleep in a good bit on every day because my entire schedule is shifted 8 hours from a regular human being.
Yeah, it'd be like that. But new time, same day, same contending. We had a really cool week for you guys. Obviously, we are going to wrap up with the big title match. Again, quick warning. Anybody who's new to these parts, this is a spoiler show. If you have not seen the live event, please.
You probably know what happened anyway. But if you haven't seen the live
you've probably
event,
been spoiled already. But we ask you, proceed with caution, because we will be spoiling the matches. That said, we won't be talking about the big singles title match till the end of the show. But first things first, we are going to talk Bradly Tingle of SWAG versus Ty Lieberman. Gucci did it again.
yeah, he has been on a roll, and it's kind of terrifying.
That's what I was saying last week. It is a rampage with these rookies.
I didn't think it was rampage yet. Like he won his matches last week, right? He was 1-0 or 1-1 the week before, and I was like, yeah, whatever, he's doing good. Now I'm scared. Now it's a lot. He's won all but one match so far this year.
Yeah,
and a lot of them knockouts.
Yeah, a lot of them are in some way a knockout. I like the exchange as a concept. I think last season I was more partial to the exchange because it had, that era's horsemen. We are without horsemen right now. I really, really liked the concept of the FInstock exchange as a faction. And now I like this season where I'm less excited about the exchange now that it isn't the Rocha Bateman Murrell Riley Dagnino show, that it's just Dagnino, Rocha, Barbarian, and JTE now. And so as excited as I am for Rocha and JTE, it's not as exciting as like having those four plus that manager and Tom Dagnino, right? But this is the season where they're like, it's all new people except for those three, and they can't be stopped. Like, I'm really, really looking forward to like what all do we have coming up here for the exchange? I'm curious. Just looking ahead.
I even just looked.
Yeah, King Khan is going up against Flickinger this week. Like, I want to see. I really want to see how this one stacks up.
JTE plays this week too.
Oh, JT does play this week.
Yeah.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be good. But like with regards to like Gucci's rookies, Like, I want to see how this King Khan stacks up. Now, granted, he's playing against another rookie, but he's also playing up against a rookie that, like,
That's the
who
thing.
has a public record of some sort, you know?
Yeah, I think that's the other thing too. Is it's been a lot of rookie on rookie games for the start, and that might be part of why they're doing so well. Not that any of them have like done poorly, but just won a bad match. Like
Your odds are better against somebody who hasn't done it before.
right. Although we'll talk about this in a minute. There isn't much to talk about, but Newman beating Heuck, and Heuck isn't exactly a vet,
No.
but
This is like a sophomore season for him.
It's still, worth mentioning that like he beat a player who's already played before, not in singles, but he's already played before.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I will also say, I'll say that for when we get to the second match and the last match. I'm not happy this week. But yeah, no, this is good. Ty Lieberman. Like, that's the other thing that I'm loving about the exchange this season, man. Like, not only are they killing the trivia, like they're actually like doing well within the sport. The character work is off the charts. Like everybody,
that lizard man is putting in work, I tell you.
I'm convinced Harloff and Ellis are listening because they stole your joke.
Did they?
In the preamble, I know like you skip through it whenever you're at work. One of them made a joke of like something to the effect of like them all being carbon copies of Gucci in some way. And I was like, y'all are ripping our material. Y'all are ripping our material.
Although I am sad I haven't been hearing what his like big event of finding these people are now because I skipped through it. Of like, I was in a field in Idaho and a potato turned to me and said, "Hey, draft Ty Lieberman."
A lot of it has been the dossier. The dossier.
The do-si-do.
The do-si-do. But yeah, no, it was a great match. Bradly Tingle, I think, just consistently, we're seeing a lot of rookies who have potential, but they are being outshined by the fact that the FInstock exchange has more riding on these rookie matches now because they have a run to maintain that none of the other factions do. None of the other factions at this point have to prove something with their rookies. Right? That pressure doesn't exist. For the exchange, it does. Because they made that bold move, son of a bitch. Because they made that bold move.
I mean, I think it's there for the suspects.
For the video viewers, or the audio listeners, I did not change our background on the TV. Because I'm a big, dumb, stupid idiot head, as you were saying, Mr. Grossman.
I think it would be there for the suspects if the suspects did good last season. Right? Like, it's the fact that FInstock went from all, like, the best players the league's ever seen to all rookies is why everyone's looking at them versus the usual suspects who, like, they existed last season and now they're doing really well with some rookies, and it's like, okay, so they just drafted better, right? Like,
yeah. No, I think you're right about that, and I think it's exactly that. It went from you built your team around, in this order, Murrell, Bateman, Riley, Roca. I love you, John. You're one of my favorites. You're one of the goats.
you were fourth.
And fourth is first, sir. I do not want to court the outlaw's wrath in our comment section. God forbid. But yeah, I really like this. I'm enjoying seeing the FInstock exchange do its giant. We're going to go from this core team of some of the greatest of all time, and now it's just a bunch of rookies getting trained by the Preparian and GTE and Roca, and I love it. Moving on. Griffin Newman, again, another exchange rookie, came in and beat a player who's been here, not like exactly like you were saying, kind of the Yeah, it's not at the beginning and the end of the conversation. It's almost the same exact conversation we just had about Tingle and Lieberman.
That's a good way of avoiding saying that you didn't watch the match.
I was about to call myself out for it, but like you said, they won it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm like just now seeing the FE here I put in the notes, realizing he was on the exchange. I'm like, oh yeah, it was an exchange rookie. It makes sense. Travis, would you like to tell me about the match?
I wish I could. I just remember that he won. That's it. And
Okay.
and to call myself out, we had to double check because I did not remember. I listened to this and the Star Wars match back to back at work. When I should not have been, but they were out on the Spotify at the same time. I don't know why they were so late putting those up yesterday.
I saw on Twitter it looked like they had issues editing Hoey Newman.
That makes sense.
So they were like, we're gonna post up Hoey Newman.
It was a very shortened. It was like the entire thing was only 56 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And there weren't a lot of ads. There weren't scenes on either side. There wasn't like the 3 minutes up top or in the middle of Christian Harloff talking about stereo. But yeah, there wasn't much memorable about that match other than another FInstock rookie won. Eric Whiteley v. John Hoey.
I think it is Hoey.
That was
That was a damn good Star Wars match.
Yeah.
I had fun watching that.
I got a quote question right.
Oh, really? Which one?
I got Hokie Religion. I actually remembered that
Good.
shit.
That's a good one to get too.
Because I was pulling stuff off of a truck and I'm in the truck and I'm listening. I hear the question. I'm like, it's Hokie Religion. It's Hokie Religion. And then he said it. And I like threw my jack and like, yeah, I got it.
I was having fun with that. I don't normally like keep my own score. Like I'll like notice what questions I missed, but I don't actually like try to keep score. And I actually did really well with this one. I had a very good time watching that. There are some times where like you just have to talk about some of the questions that were asked, and with due respect to PJ Campbell and the writing staff, you guys do amazing work. You guys make this incredible brain sport possible. The question about the name of the Rancor trainer is not a round 2 question. That is a 5-pointer.
There was another one that the 2-pointer about what did Palpatine call Endor's forest moon?
So I was watching that with Kason. I was so confused with what they meant by that.
And you could tell, like I was listening to it and I could tell he was too.
That I was just befuddled. Like then like once you hear them say the sanctuary moon, I'm like, that's what they meant.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like, how does he refer to it? Where I'm like, what? I don't know. It was the phrasing of that question. It confused the shit out of me, and clearly it also confused the competitor because I was just mouth breathing. I'm glad I'm not the only one who was scratching their head with the verbiage.
Like I heard that because like it was like a 2-pointer in that category. So I was like, okay, that's reasonable. Like it's probably gonna just be like, where is this building, right? Like where's Mos Eisley Cantina or something? And it was like, what is this really weird quote from Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, because like there's a lot of like there's a lot of like if they said that whole line as a who said it,
that would be different.
Like who has the line, on the sanctuary moon? Like then you would have been able to be like, oh, okay. Like the verbiage of sanctuary moon is something Palpatine is saying. You'd be able to like kind of reason your way through it. But just how does he refer to it? Like again, it confused me. It like really like I had no idea what they meant by that. Like Kason was like, did they mean the fucking Ewok planet? Is that what he says? Like I don't
Teddy Bear Land. Of note, Hoey only missed one question.
Yeah.
Match.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
So what happens whenever Star Wars podcasters play the movie Trivia Schmodown.
Yeah, they should get Levi on that.
Suck my dick. No, this is a great match. There's just like, this is one of those matches that just like you can feel just like an engine revving up for the entire match. And I really enjoyed it. Star Wars is shaping up to be something interesting this year. Moving forward,
Live event.
Live event.
We're talking about the live event.
For the love of God, if you don't want spoiled, get the hell out.
But don't go to the Facebook group or Twitter. Instagram's probably okay. Apparently there's a subreddit, but that's Reddit. So
what the fuck? You know where you can go? You know it will be safe from Movie Trivia Schmodown spoilers? Other videos on our YouTube channel or podcasts in our podcast feed. Go listen to those. In fact, go listen to our review of Tommy Wiseau's The Room. That was a lot of fun. I'm a different person now. That kind of changed me. Even though I've seen almost that entire movie. I've probably seen that entire movie via clip. Mm-hmm. And via like the amount of people who have done videos about The Room. That shit changed me. Watching the whole thing like straight through.
There's one more thing before we get into spoilers. I didn't realize that they were like, because with the original trilogy, editions matter of the movies. I didn't know they were using like the versions off Disney Plus. Or like any of the remasters, because they mentioned the scene in New Hope of Jabba talking to Han. Like that was a question.
Yeah, I think it's more. It's a weird question. I think it's more to do with like.
I don't think it was out of bounds. Like I think it was totally fine. It's just that like hearing it, I was like, oh, they're using the digital deluxe editions.
Yeah, I think because the special editions are what's canon.
Yeah,
so like
that's true.
It's like they have to operate within the canon movies.
And also like if you're gonna study, right? Like you're gonna study the version you own, which probably has that scene on it, or you're gonna study the version on Disney Plus. So
yeah.
I just thought that was because like I've never heard a question that I could remember that like did not reference it. Like it didn't reference the fact that a thing had been changed. It was just like a new scene from the movie, right?
Yeah, well that
or like they could ask.
I'm sure there's been a lot of questions that have to do with scenes that have something changed in it. It's just like the change doesn't affect like the text or the plot of the scene.
It could be like who voices Boba Fett in the original version of Empire Strikes Back, or like who's credited for Boba Fett or something.
Yeah.
Or who's credited for Palpatine in Empire, right?
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
Did you know that the Palpatine who shows up in Empire is Alfred from Batman the Animated Series?
Yes, I believe you told me that.
I just think that's neat.
The Dark Timeline.
Master Bruce. But yeah. Oh, real quick before we to give anybody who's still stuck around because we're vamping and rambling, buffer and a little bit more show before they leave for spoiler reasons. I want to talk about that. Bradly Tingle Lieberman cutscene that happens up top.
Swaggy. Yeah.
I did not know what to expect. So behind the scenes, I wasn't able to watch the Ty Lieberman match, the Ty Lieberman Bradly Tingle match the day it aired. I'm at work while he's listening or watching the match.
Listening. I was listening, and then because I could hear like I listened to the scene. And I was like, if they unmuffle his voice, I'll pull up the video because I need to know who that is. And they unmuffled his voice. And I was like, is that? And I pulled up the video and I saw it and I was like, yeah.
At which point, I get a message in our Nerd Academy group chat that's like in all caps at Jarod, did you watch today's match yet? And I was like, no, I've not yet. And it was just something to the effect of the scene up top will make you shit.
I think that was exactly what I typed, actually.
Yeah, something to that effect. And I was like, oh, sweet. And I'm like, I have no idea what to expect. And you know, so I saw on Twitter that the cutscene had been posted independently, but it was also posted like on Twitter and shit with the caption of what mysterious manager is Chandru talking to. So clearly it cuts off before like the teaser version cuts off before we have the reveal of Jay Washington. Thank you, God. Or maybe not, because it may not be going anywhere, but still, thank you, God, for giving me a little bit of Jay Washington.
I think it could still be. I think
just a crumb of Jay Washington, Mr. Harloff. Thank you.
I think it could still be going somewhere. It just won't be. I think you might be onto something of him just having a new faction, right? He won't maybe it won't start this season, but by the end of the season,
there'll be like we are, you know, the urban villains or whatever. But so I'm like, ooh, like this. We're probably gonna find out who Chandru's SWAG-surrection guy is, and you're like, oh, it's gonna make you shit. And then he's like walking through the streets, and he's like holding his head, right? But he's wearing a hat, and like I can see from like the way the hat's moving and the body language, I'm like, is this Jay fucking Washington? I'm watching the scene by myself in my room cleaning up yesterday, and I'm like, is that Jay? That's Jay. That's Jay. I'm like, that's got to be Jay. I'm like having this conversation, like literally like saying it out loud, all by myself, talking to myself. I'm like, that's got to be Jay Washington. That has to be. That has to be. And he just looks up. He's like, I've been doing this for a while. I'm like, oh my fucking God. Like, that was my actual reaction. To send a voice message into the chat of me just screaming with glee that, if Jay is actually back, Travis, listen, I ride or die with corruption. Anything Jay Washington touches might be as close a second as can be to corruption. So I am giddy with this and hope that this goes somewhere and that the plotline development that we have during the live event doesn't just turn this into a cameo. But we'll get there. Anyway, back to the actual trivia itself. Stacy Howard versus Kevin Smith.
Okay. Really important for this match. I got 4 out of 8 in round 1.
Wow. Good job, man.
I'm a god. Thank you.
Dan Murrell, you're on notice.
I'm coming for you. I was also sad that Kevin Smith was not on the wheel. But that's okay.
Yeah. I told Kason about that. I was like, okay, so Chris Jericho's in the Schmodown now, and he went, okay. He told him the story of their match last season, and he was like, that's legend shit. But yeah, no, this is a good match. Kevin Smith, I learned very quickly watching this. For as funny as that man is, like as a writer and as a comedian and as a podcast host, conversationally, he is very much the I cannot tell if you're joking or not type.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because like Stacy Howard looked legitimately offended by some of the shit he was saying at first. And then you look up and the two people who have like interacted with him before are pissing themselves. And then Stacy started to laugh, and like Smith started to like crack a smile halfway through.
I didn't. Okay, so maybe I don't know it. I skipped through a lot of the opening.
Oh, what was it? I think it was the It was a Life and Times of Harvey Milk thing, which then bled into. I thought Spaceballs is one word, but I'm not gonna, because like you listened. You said you listened to it. Or did you watch?
How would I listen to it? It's
good point. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, I skipped through the challenge part to get to the question because like I got spoiled for both, but I got like spoiled. Like I knew Kevin Smith TKO'd Stacy Howard in this match before I watched it. So I was like, I just want to watch because, like, but also I know Kevin Smith's fun to watch play, so I just want to watch him like do his thing. And I think I know what you're talking about, where he just kept like poking fun at the fact that they challenged it, but like he just like is relentless, but also he's doing a bit.
Yeah, and like it was just like the way he was speaking. Like I felt
because like I think in Stacey's case, she would be used to like somebody actually being upset about that challenge, and clearly Kevin Smith is like, well, like he's kind of pulling a Levi, only he's being joking about it.
Yeah, well, because like watching it, that's why I say that, like, I know, like, interacting with Kevin Smith, I would be awkward as shit because I would not be able to tell when he's joking or not. Because for a hot second, I was like, what the hell is, like, he's being really mean to Stacy Howard for no reason here. Like beyond, this is even like kayfabe shit talk. They're like, you're just being a dick. And then I can see Harloff and Ellis pissing themselves, right? And then, like, they bring in the managers, and Coy's laughing, and Sam Levine, who works with Kevin Smith, is also pissing himself even harder than Harloff and Ellis. And I'm like, okay, well, if the dude who knows him better than anyone else here and the manager of the competitor that he's ribbing is laughing, then, like, we're good. Because I have a feeling that if Kevin Smith was actually being a dick, Sam Levine would have gotten real vocal real quick. Sam Levine just strikes me as the type of guy who would handle his shit in that way. But yeah, no, other than that, it was an amazing match. It was funny as hell. It was nice to see Kevin Smith. No disrespect to Zerflirt Flaus, nor to Chris Jericho. The number one contender is Jericho. I am happy to see Kevin Smith have this strong of a performance against
a seasoned player,
an established player. Yeah, like not somebody who, because Jericho clearly has movie trivia knowledge. Not somebody who is brand spanking new to this and is kind of here for the fun, or like a weird bit character like Flaus.
I think if I don't mean this as a dig at Kevin Smith. If Kevin Smith got serious about the game, he could be like easy champion material.
Yeah, I know what you mean when you say that.
Like,
right? Yeah,
it's not that he doesn't take it seriously. It's just that like he does not physically have the time to compete at the champion level for this game, and so like if he could, and then he would like, okay, I'm gonna like figure out how strategy works in this game, like using my JTEs properly and whatever. Dude could easily end up in a championship match.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, technically speaking, he's 3 wins deep.
Yeah, and like he ended up
he could have his hands on a number one contender match.
He very casually goes perfect in round 1 all the time. Like he casually gets his entire round 2. He like it comes so naturally to him that you don't notice that he isn't missing questions.
Yeah.
So, that match was fun. I quite enjoyed it.
So, back to SWAG-surrection plot line.
All right, I missed this. I didn't even realize because like I skipped straight to and the rules for round 1 of the championship match. So
Laura Kelly and Chandru are in like a StreamYard call, and hey, ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing the first ever live show performed by Nerd Academy Podcast Network.
So
New perk of the $10 tier. You can just walk into the studio.
Yeah.
Don't sit on that disgusting plate.
yeah, I wasn't going to. I was going to have to stand over here.
You just stand over there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Kason stayed over last night because we're going on a bro date today. But Chandru and Laura are in the Zoom call. Winston comes in. They have their discussion. Then we find out that Primetime Paulo Yama was Winston's informant with regards to the SWAG-surrection.
Which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
'Cause Oyama's kind of in his prime time right now, right? Like he has that tenacity he had with the dungeon, but with like, I don't know how to describe it. He feels like a more rounded player.
You're
now.
absolutely. I agree with you completely. I'm gonna get the garage door.
Okay.
It sounds like Yoda's going ape shit.
I couldn't hear it the last time you mentioned it.
It doesn't sound that way. How are you, Travis?
I'm good.
Good.
A little tired. I'm not used to being up this late. Like I would be waking up right around now
Okay.
most days.
The door's closed and it's coming from the other side of the house.
Nice.
Also, I want you to know that I had a really bad urge to just like throw the door open and scream some crazy shit.
I appreciate the fact that you did it. Greatly appreciated.
I mean, as long as it wasn't hateful, it would have been funny.
Right. That's what I was going for. I really just wanted to like say some off the wall shit that just would have been like
Yeah.
completely random. But
Just come in full John Kaiser.
yeah.
Make the burgers.
Oh yeah, I was telling Joe.
Contender, I should have.
Yeah.
Should have put the glasses on and just.
What did Kaiser say last night that like had you very confused?
Oh my god. He said
That doesn't really know it down.
he called Collins Mr. Miyagi and said that he was just a nice guy who knows how to find cheap labor. And I was like, what the
Yep.
Also, before I get back to the SWAG-surrection stuff, I think we figured out why Kaiser's different this season. He directly says, I've been going to therapy lately.
I missed
I
that.
don't think Kaiser has any difference of amphetamines coursing through him now. I think those are all the same. I think he just found a really good therapist.
That's good.
Like, I think he's going to the same bitch James Buchanan Barnes is going to. Like, I think that's who you have to loan out. Like,
My name is John Kaiser. I am no longer the crackhead manager of the dungeon. I am the dad manager of the dungeon. This is my attempt to make amends. Hands a belt to Dan Murrell.
Piss off.
Anyway,
Back to SWAG-surrection.
it makes sense because Oyama's like, he's ready to go. He could very easily take the singles belt again. And with I felt bad they were digging so hard on Lon when him and Chandra were talking because Lon had a bad day, and I know that it's just easy to use that,
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
It is what it is. I was very I encourage you to go back and watch the scene because Winston Marshall was on it. That was the most not schmodown acting I've seen in a hot minute. Because it felt really genuine. It wasn't that this is professional wrestling, so it's this weird campiness to it where whenever Roca went apeshit on Murrell at the end of the Spectacular last season, there was that I buy what he's saying, but it's coming with that percent chance of sacrifice type shit was kind of the undercurrent there, right? Where with Winston here, it was just you're gonna shut your ass up and you're going to listen to me right now. And it was gold. Like, it was such a good scene. Chandru, like, I don't want to just, like, he has, like, calling it a hissy fit is like oversimplifying the moment he has, because he very much has like a almost Anakin Skywalker, he's holding me back moment. Like, all that was missing was him like throwing a random wrench across a room. But that is such a good scene. Like, Chandru was acting his ass off and Winston was acting his ass off. And, you know, I've accepted the fact that at this point, Laura Kelly's not coming back to Corruption. The whole tension about whether or not someone was going to try to draft her or trade her back is over, and it's gone. Also, with regards to Winston's amazing performance, you're not going to play in the FCL. You're not going to play in the fan leagues. You're going to be doing bar trivia when I'm done with your ass. Wow. Oof. That is how he threatened Chandru if he kept this shit up. Oof. It was incredible. And but please, God, let Jay Washington come back. I don't care what you have to do it. Because like going into this, I was like, okay, I know Winston Marshall mentioned that it was a Herculean act to get the Schmodown to fit into his schedule right now as a manager. And like we had said before, it felt like the SWAG-surrection plotline was a way to give Winston a door out, to maybe take some time that he needed and maybe things weren't working, and it would be easier to do a plotline like that to write him out of the story rather than Winston just go deuces. So I was surprised when they went to the extent of showing us Jay friggin' Washington in that cutscene to seemingly end the SWAG-surrection plot with Chandru getting put in timeout. Like, I don't know. I'm curious as to where it's going. Still curious as to how it ties in with the Schmominati shit. But yeah. Anyway, back to the actual trivia itself. We had the singles title match between Adam the Coyote Collins, at the time reigning champion, and Dangerous Dan Murrell.
His streak continues. He's never lost when he's been playing for the belt.
I'm getting really tired of this shit.
Yeah?
I'm not in... You know, let the trivia and the plot lines and just the hype of this season stand on its own. That this might be one of my favorite seasons of this sport so far, of this show. And I don't think Corruption has won dick yet. Like, I know they have. I know they've won matches. But, like, their wins to losses right now is not a pretty sight. The fact that Corruption is so far behind, tied for last, again, and we've already had all of these amazing matches that I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible, this is incredible, this is incredible, this is incredible, this is incredible. And like, we're all like going ape shit. Like, the fact that this season is good enough to distract me enough from the fact that Corruption is not doing well right now speaks volumes about how great season 8 has been. Because, like, without something crazy like Dimolanta versus Damon, or like the hype of Danger Zone and Rushmore, like, without some of that shit, I would be livid watching the Schmodown these days. Because I'm not, you know, I'm being hyperbolic, but like, I'm getting really tired of watching Corruption get his dick kicked in. I'm really like upset. I'm
sorry to hear that.
I am upset that they are getting just beat to shit right now.
If only there was a whole nother year of this season happening where they could win more now that Collins gets to play again.
Which I know that like I know that there is a points opportunity. There are very, very big points opportunities right now. Like, I know the hope is not lost, but it's slightly demoralizing. And I believe in corruption. We've seen them do it last season. I think they can do it again this season. I know they can do it this season. It's going to happen. But this part of the journey is not the fun part.
I just don't know what, because like the Intergeekdom belt's going to stay in the dungeon, the singles belt's going to stay in the dungeon, and then the teams belt's going to trade back and forth between Shazam and Danger Zone a couple times, and then the Star Wars belt is going to just exist. Where does corruption fit into that?
Hey, Kason, how do you feel about hosting?
I'm being a dick. I'm very happy with, because like I wouldn't have cared either way, like because I liked Adam Collins and him setting the precedent of like I beat Dan Murrell twice and ended his championship streak, right? I think that would have been insane. But also watching Dan Murrell just like no, we're still here.
It's like the Infinity War meme. It's like, we don't do that to you.
So no, we don't beat Dan Murrell here. Especially like Dan missing 2 in round 1 really shocked me. You know?
Opened with a miss.
Yeah, right? I knew, again, I spoiled for the match. I spoiled myself for that one. That wasn't anyone's fault. Then like seeing that, I was like, wow, this match really turns around somewhere.
I went into it. I was just like on the edge of my seat, nervous, waiting because I know sparks are gonna fly, right? And he opens with that miss, and I went, like I was like, oh my god, what is happening? And then he misses a second in round 1, and I'm starting to like cracking the armrests of my chair in my room. I'm like, oh my god, this is going in a way that I did not think it could. And I'm happy to see it. And then at the end of the day, like, you know what you know, you don't know what you don't know. And that was that 5. It was just that 5. Like you can't, sometimes you can't get around drawing a blank. And it sucks when it happens, you know, from everything from an exhibition to just like a normal 3-rounder to a championship match. Sometimes you're just going to find some shit you don't know.
Dan didn't know his 3, he guessed.
Yeah.
You know?
So Collins tried to shoot from the hip and tried to guess too, and he missed, and it is what it is. It was really weird seeing the player with a higher accuracy rate for the match like lose it at the very end. Like, I don't necessarily agree with Ben Bateman on this, but he brought up how the weight of the 5 is a little overpowered on backstage recently.
It's true though.
And he was like he was saying, he was like, sometimes the performance of somebody in a match can become meaningless if they miss their 5.
And I think he's kind of right.
You think he's kind of right. I think that's kind of the point of the 5, is that like it can be a haymaker or it can be a self-inflicted wound. Right? That's what I kind of like about the 5-pointer, is that, it's kind of like a weird like finisher in a way for everybody. Like you get a chance to like get that punch right in the jaw.
But there's also that like they're almost always impossible. Right? Like you have to get a category or get really lucky to be able to hit it. consistently, right? Or you just have to get lucky enough that you never get to yours, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think, because, Collins was winning the entire match. I think they went into round 4 tied, right? Because Collins went to multiple choice twice or once or something, and that leveled out the points. And then
I think Dan got his first lead during round 5.
yeah,
Dan got his first.
They were tied going into the speed round, and then Dan missed one in the speed round.
Yeah.
And then Collins missed his 5, and that was the match.
Yeah.
And so, like, I do think, from a game mechanics standpoint, I think that there's some merit to the 5-pointer being a little much. And, like, I don't think decreasing the point value at all makes that any different. Like, I don't know how you fix that, because if you make it easier, now the 5-pointer means nothing. And if you decrease the points, it's still, like, you'd have to decrease it to 1 point, and at that point it doesn't do anything,
Yeah. No, I agree with you. But it was really good. Obviously, we have the teams tournament coming up. Adam Collins is going to be stopping there, nor is Dangerous Dan Murrell. You and I both said that right side of the team's bracket is going to most likely comes down to Deception and Danger Zone. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Collins does next. Not 100% sure how much he means what he says with his and next I'm going to do IG, and next I'm going to do Star Wars, and I don't mind some newer Star Wars blood and corruption. I think that's just always a good thing. I think that there's a Laura Kelly shaped hole that they need to fill. That's nothing against Sean Sullivan. Obviously, he's an established player, and they do have Scrimshaw. But you can never hurt to have like a good co-training, co-leadership, co-apprenticeship going on.
Coco.
Jen Sturger said it best. You don't need another player in the IG. Between Kalinowski and Chance, there's no reason to put another player in the IG.
Yeah, that, and there's no IG this month, right? Like, we get two more matches at the end of the month, and that's it. It's a very singles heavy month, and I'm not a fan.
Very singles heavy. I think they're going to make up for that in May. I think May is going to be all teams in IG pretty much.
I hope.
Plus, Jesus, teams IG and whatever the hell we get the Star Wars rematch.
Oh yeah, May's going to have the rematch.
So yeah, I know. Obviously, no disrespect. Congratulations, Dangerous Dan Murrell. You're the GOAT for a reason.
This is the reason.
You're shut your piss baby mouth. Belt's gonna come home. All these belts are coming home. It's okay. We'll get there eventually. I'll be all right. But congrats to Dangerous Dan Murrell on an amazing win. Congrats to Adam the Coyote Collins for objectively playing a better game. But he lost.
I'm just saying.
Listen, I wanted to go back. What happened in this match is it's the Schmodown version of Bush beating Al Gore.
Whoa! Dan Murrell didn't cheat.
Okay, fair.
Dan Murrell isn't a Nazi.
Dan Murrell also didn't do 9/11.
Dude, that is not. You are way off base with that. Whoa!
Insofar as the popular vote v electoral vote shit.
That's bullshit.
I'm saying that Collins had a higher accuracy.
That doesn't fucking matter. That's horse shit. My opponent could hit 4 questions in round 1, and I could only hit my 5-pointer, and they technically had a better accuracy.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they played a better fucking game.
I know. I'm talking out of my ass. I have to. Looking forward to next week. Before we wrap up here. So first match next week, we have Adam the Razor Wit of the Dungeon going up against Thomas Harper of the Den in the Star Wars division. Who you got?
I guess Adam Witt.
Yeah.
He's Dungeon. Thomas Harper's a rookie, right?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, I'm going to say Adam Witt.
All right. We have the FinStock Exchange's King Khan against John the Flick Pick Flickinger, also of the Dungeon.
I mean, I was going to say Flickinger anyway, but it just helps. I didn't realize how much of a lead the Dungeon had. And I on record, beginning of the season, doesn't matter. But they have a substantial lead right now. And it makes me a happy boy. But granted, they've had 2 title matches that they won. So,
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Similar
now-
situation to the Exchange last year.
Yeah.
Where it's like
They
you
just
have to get through those opening of the season title matches.
and I think the difference is, I guess you're right. Yeah, it is basically the same because Bateman and Murrell had their match too. But yeah, it's like and I think Collins brings up an excellent point is that now he's going to be playing in singles and like running the tournament, and Murrell's going to be holding the belt.
Yeah.
So we can't do that. Granted, Dungeon has Bateman to pick up that slack, but it's a valid point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Flickinger all the way.
I am also gonna. I didn't say. I'm going for Adam Witt for the Star Wars match. I'm also pulling for Flickinger. As a fan of him. He seems like a good dude. He's funny as hell, so I'm pulling for him. But I am curious to see if he can stop this rookie rampage with the Exchange. I was very excited to see that. After that, we have Ben Goddard of the Den going head-to-head with Little Evil JTE of the FinStock Exchange in singles.
This is such a lot. I feel like this is lopsided. I don't like. And granted, I've never really seen JTE play, but this feels lopsided.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna root for Ben Goddard.
You want to go for the underdog?
I guess, and not that I'm usually about that, but like, why not?
No, I mean, I like Ben Goddard, but like, it's freaking JTE. He's a legend. I want to see I want to see JTE to put in the work. So I want to see his first match back be as incredible as it should be. So yeah, pulling for JTE on that one. All right, with that, I think that's all we got for you guys this week. So Travis, where can the lovely people find you, my friend?
At work in like 30 minutes. And on Twitter and Instagram at Travis Political. And streaming on Wednesdays at Black Leader 439.
On
Twitch?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean on? I said on Wednesdays.
Yeah. Didn't you hear the Liberals canceled Wednesday now?
Hell yeah. I hate Wednesdays. Actually, no, I'm off on
I was
Wednesdays.
going to say, you're off on Wednesday, stream on Wednesdays, and also do campus life. I feel like Wednesday's a good day for you.
I hate the concept of today's my Wednesday. Honestly, Saturdays are my shit day. We have 2 trucks. I have another day of work afterwards. It's just the worst. It's just the worst. Jared,
Yes.
where?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552, and you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com. Or if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page. Speaking of our Patreon, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Kason Brion, the Waffle Wizard. It never occurred to me that you could actually blow a kiss to him this time for realsies. Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, and Zach Canals. You guys help us make the content that we love to produce. Be sure to check out the $5 tier We have our exclusive shows. We have the Knights of the Nerd Republic versus series. I thought you were like raising your hand to say something and not just
No.
5.
5.
We have the Knights of the Nerd Republic versus series. April's was the Grand Inquisitor versus Executor Cedrus. May will be Mara Jade versus Galen Marek. At some point, Travis and I are going to do the New 52 Justice League Origins. So check that out for heroic history. And we have the audio commentaries for Nerd Academy Movie Club. At some point this weekend, the Room audio commentary will be posted. So check that out, but keep the volume down because I basically just start screaming.
That's good.
It just, between me laughing really loudly and just getting really confused with what the shit is happening, we all kind of go through it. Be sure to check out the Nerd Academy TeePublic. You can click on the student store link on our website. You can get access to all manner of Nerd Academy merch and goodies. Look, guys, for once, I'm wearing our own merch on air. Holy shit. With that, thank you all so very much for listening. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do the things. And
I'm ordering breakfast.
he's ordering breakfast. And smash